Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Minister. I think it's pretty obvious that we're all on Canada's side, but I got to tell you, as the Member of Parliament for Oshawa, we build cars, and I'm extremely concerned. Our factories are going to be significantly affected by the tariffs on steel and aluminum. We always get complaints that Canada is the highest cost jurisdiction to build cars, and it's really affecting our competitiveness. I know when the Americans first announced those tariffs, the Prime Minister was quick to go on a victory tour in Quebec, telling workers that, you know, we got your back. Unfortunately, we didn't get a great result there. We're being hit with these tariffs. We know that's not the case. But when Mr. Trump says something, he means it, and he's going to follow through. And now we're threatened with these auto tariffs, and as my colleague said, the TD Bank calculates it could affect 160,000 jobs, and that's huge. It makes me extremely nervous, and I'm worried about the plan, frankly. You mentioned that auto is a priority, but Minister, in your speech last year, you didn't really mention automotive as a automotive as a priority. There's nothing in the budget to talk about these tariffs in response. The government's running huge deficits. There's not a lot of fiscal room here. So my question for you is, you say we have to be prepared, but what is the status of the plan? What can you do to ensure auto workers that they're not going to lose their job? How far along are you with the plan to adapt to this eventuality of these auto tariffs?
Let me first of all say thank you for the question. Thank you for your hard work on behalf of your constituents. The auto sector is absolutely essential to our country, absolutely essential to this government, and it has been an absolute focus of our discussions with the U.S. about the Canada-U.S. economic relationship. As I think this committee is well aware, the rules of origin in the automotive sector have been at the heart of our NAFTA negotiation. We have spent a great deal of time at the table with our American and Mexican counterparts, and also consulting very closely with the car parts companies, with the car companies, and with unions. So we absolutely understand the centrality of the automotive sector to our economy, to our relationship with the U.S., and to NAFTA. We have been and continue to be extremely focused on it when it comes to the NAFTA negotiation. On the Section 232 investigation, let me be very clear. Canada knows, and our partners around the world know, our partners in Europe, our partners in Asia, our partners in Mexico, that this would be an unprecedented act by the United States, and we have been very clear in explaining that to our American counterparts. It is important for us to be clear about that as a government, and I believe it's important for us to be clear about that as a country. It's important for us also to be in very close conversation with Canadian and U.S. business about what the impact of such an action would be.
I had a very short period of time, and frankly, my community, I was on the weekend talking to my neighbors. We're extremely worried about that. We know all that, and respectfully, I thank you for your work on that, but what we don't know is what is the plan. Today, we even asked for an emergency debate, and I know the Speaker made his decision, but I'm disappointed because a potential 160,000 job losses, for me, that is an emergency. And for my community, that's an emergency. For Ontario, that's an emergency. For our economy, that's an emergency. So what I'm asking you today is not things that we do know. What I'm asking you is how far along is the plan? We saw with these other tariffs, the Prime Minister went out early and said, you know, don't worry, be happy type of thing. Well, I'm worried. And I don't know what the plan is. And I don't know if you advised the Prime Minister to go out and do that tour. But I would like to know what is the plan,
Mr. Carrie,
how far along
you only have 20 seconds, so maybe let the Minister answer your question.
Okay, with respect, let me say that the Prime Minister's response and my own on May 31st, when the Section 232 tariffs by the United States were announced, was firm, clear, and resolute, and it spoke to detailed preparation. Our preparations in support of the auto sector are equally detailed, and our support will be equally firm and clear, and that's a commitment.
Thank you, Minister.